Good morning, beloveds. Since my allergies have kicked in, my eyesight has been messy, so I'm not even fooling with it. I'm just starting with the glasses today. Okay, so it is October 5th. Our title is Healing the Inner Child. Our first quote is, "The secret of genius is to carry the spirit of childhood into old age." And that is Bertrand Russell. The second quote is, How we long for a return to that simple trust in life which children have. In their minds, there are no doubts. And that is The Science of Mind, page 456. The other day, I passed a homeless person sleeping in the street. I studied his face, rough, tired, defeated. As I experienced compassion for his situation, I suddenly went back in time and saw him as a vibrant infant, full of hope and expectation. I also realized that this inner child was still alive. It had not died, but was walled off from the rest of the world. For the next few days, no matter whom I encountered, doctor, banker, bank teller, bricklayer, I could see behind the mask for that same inner child. What does this inner child want? It wants to be held, touched, and loved. It wants to belong. It wants to have fun, laugh, and play. What does this inner child provide? It gives us aliveness, energy, joy, and vitality. It gives us life. Unfortunately, most of us have paid far too little attention to the child. From the man in the alley to many successful people for whom life is a serious business, we are all suffering from the same malady, a lack of connection with our inner child and the joy it brings. Ultimately, this child is the Christ child. Therefore, getting in touch with the child is the key to experiencing the divine in our lives. Was it not Jesus who told us to enter the kingdom of God, we must be as little children? I love my inner child. I give it the attention it needs and asks for. I now allow that child to participate in all my daily affairs, and my life is filled with joy and vitality. And that is D.B. Douglas Bloch. Okay. And Jesse was talking recently about inner child. I don't know if it was this week or this past Sunday or the Sunday before. And I think he even used that quote about inner child. There's a whole lot of therapy work about inner child work. Because it's super important on a number of levels. Because if you look back at your childhood, even if you had a difficult childhood, there are moments of joy. There are moments of joy. Because children have this abandoned way of being in the world, where they don't worry about yesterday and they don't worry about tomorrow, and they're in the moment, whatever that moment is. And everything is new and exciting and interesting, and they're constantly learning. And we just hit this point in our life where, all of that seems to stop. And it doesn't for everybody. I mean, you meet children, and there's a difference. You'll meet childish people and you'll meet childlike people. And the difference. And that's some of that secret is that joy, that new experience, which is why it's good for us to get out of our routines occasionally. When we get too caught up in our routines and we get too serious, and children are rarely serious. I mean, you meet serious children and serious things happen, but children have this way of making time for joy, no matter what's going on. They do. I have one of those experiences when I was somewhere between 8 and 10, probably. I had an uncle who was involved in an industrial accident and who did not make it. And I remember, because all of my parents were, young, and my parents were young, all my aunts and uncles were young, and because this was the husband of one of my mother's younger sisters. And I remember how they gathered us all together, and we spent a lot of time at the funeral home, and yes, we knew why we were there, but there was a hayfield with haystacks, or the big round hay bales out in the back field, and they let us go play. And more importantly, we went and played. So yes, we were there for a very sad reason. And yes, we were there for, and we knew all of us were old enough. And I think I even have a picture from that. And we're all smiling because we're children. And that's what it is that adults can lose. That ability to be in a very sad situation and still go play. Still make the time to go play. And the adults didn't shame us for that. They told us to go play, because they knew we had all that energy that we needed to burn off. And, so they understood that. And, we did. And that's something that I think that adults forget. One, you expect children to act like adults, and they're not going to. They need to go and burn off that energy. But two, adults forget that even in the midst of a situation like that, you need to make time to go play. Whatever that looks like. When I say go play, we were literally jumping back and forth over hay bales. So, and rolling around and all that. But adults need to make sure that they make time for that, to go play. So if you haven't figured it out now, the mission for today, there it is. Because there is a whole lot of therapy based on inner child work. It's like, we still have that child in us. We still need to go play. We still need to be able to live in that present moment. We still need to be creative and joyful and laugh at all of that. And if we're not making time for that in our lives, we're stifling that inner child. I don't know, if you want to go around and imagine everybody as the infant, go for it. But I just think that occasionally we need to look back at the child we were and go play. So it's absolutely a spiritual practice. One of the people that I went to ministerial school, that's her work. She's what do they call us when we do that? Okay, it doesn't matter. But she created her own work. She's got a board of directors, does the fundraising on all of that, but it's called Playhouse. And that's exactly what it is she creates field trips for adults to go play. And if I lived closer to, well, she's in Denver, Colorado, heck yeah, I would sign up for her stuff. Cause she's doing the work for me, so I don't have to figure out how to go play. So yeah, that absolutely, that is going to be the mission today. I'm not even going to pick the book back up. I'm going to tell you, the mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to go play. Yes, we are adults. Yes, we have responsibilities. Yes, we have all of this stuff to do, but we also need to make time out for ourselves. We need to make time to play. We need to make time to be joyful. We need to make time to be, to laugh. And it can be short breaks of time. The other thing that I always ask you to do, it's because it's a spiritual practice, to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself. Absolutely. That's part of it. Because sometimes the most loving, kind, compassionate thing you can do for yourself is to take a deep breath before you speak. That's how quick they are. And so sometimes what we need is just 15 minutes to go play. I started playing a game on the phone. It's called Cats and Soup. And it's silly. Literally, cats making soup. Come on. And now I'm collecting digital cats, and I have a little, area, and I rearrange my cats, and, and I can and it's pointless. It's pointless. There's no point to this game. You're not going to win. You're not. But it's, I spend our 5-10 minutes, sometimes 15 or 20 minutes playing. I'm feeding that inner child. And it's good. So I hope you have something in your life like that, that you do every day. I do recommend the spiritual practice of doing something loving for yourself, doing something kind for yourself, doing something compassionate for yourself. Well, if the mission today is to make sure that you are fitting in some time to play, that's part of it. That's part of it. The most loving, kind, and compassionate thing that you can do for yourself is to go play, to feed that inner child, to nourish that inner child. If Jesus said to enter the kingdom of God, we need to be as little children, we need to feed that child. We need to give that child that love, that acceptance. And especially if we didn't get a lot of it as children. It's like the great thing about being an adult is we can give to our inner child the stuff we didn't get when we were children. Okay? That's one of the reasons I saw a meme recently. They were talking about, go buy the ice cream, buy the toy that you wanted as a child that you didn't get. You're an adult now. Take care of your inner child. So the loving, kind, compassionate thing, go play. Go play. Take that nap. Take that walk. That's one of the funny things is that as children, we resist the nap because there's always something going on. And as adults, we look forward to that nap. Okay? So that's one way you can feed your inner child, the naps that we resisted as children. Go for a walk. And go for a walk and talk to all the dogs and cats on your route. Trust me, children do. Trust me, children do. Just practice on yourself. That's part of it. Practice on yourself. The most loving, kind, compassionate thing we can do is practice on ourselves. When we are healthy, when our inner child is nourished, when we are nourished, we are better for the world. We are better for the world. And we create that bank of love, kindness, and compassion so that when we meet people that need a little extra, we've got that. We've got that. So create that habit, create that default setting, create that first response. Nourish that inner child. He says healing, but nourish that inner child too. Feed them the things that you didn't get growing up that you needed. Yeah. And there we are. Okay. So you got your mission. Go play. You've got your loving, kind, compassionate spiritual practice. Whatever that looks like for you. As always, I do encourage you to do something to engage your mind and your body, whatever that looks like. I know when I get up in the morning, I'm really stiff and I hurt a lot, and getting up and going and moving, we went for a bike ride today, really helps. So that's why I encourage it. It is about self-care, literally about self-care. And drink plenty of water. Big believer in hydration, super important. And get that early in your day, bright light. We were up early enough and out early enough that I got to ride a lot of the ride without my sunglasses. And then there were a couple of places where face full of sun. It's good for you though. So, it resets those circadian rhythms, which I'm working on. My circadian rhythms are all kinds of, yeah. So early in your day, bright light. And then as always, in the words of Ernest Holmes, open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you do live in heaven. Right here, right now. It's all around us. And nourishing that inner child is a good way to get there. Heaven is when we play. Heaven is when we play. Whatever that looks like for you. So, and then you can always take Emma's advice. Look for the good and praise it. Heaven is a state of mind. It's a state of consciousness. It's about creating it. And it is absolutely a superpower that everybody has. And nourishing that inner child will go a long way to nourishing that particular superpower. So, all right. Here's where I do the social media stuff, which is we are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark. I am the running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. So take care, go like and subscribe and check out the YouTube playlists. I'm very proud of the way I curate those. So, The soul sessions are always my go-to. I recommend those. And then take care of, if you want to know what's going on with the center, because we've always got book studies going on. In the power of book studies, you can drop in and drop out. Classes, if you want credit for them, you got to lock in. But the book studies can be dropped in and out of as your schedule permits. So email info@creativelife.org, and that will get you on the constant contact, and those hot links are hot. So I think that's what I know. So I'm going to encourage you to have a great day, an amazing day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a childlike day, an amazing day, a wonder-filled day, a fantastic day if we're doing child play, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious day, because, that brings out the child in all of us, as does a spoonful of sugar. A good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day, because you are enough just as you are. We've been talking about the inner child today. You are a beloved child of God, in whom God is well pleased and well represented always. All right? So remember that. When we remember who we are, and we know who everyone else is, as our writer today, Donald Bloch said, or Douglas Bloch, said, he looked in the face of everybody and saw that child looking back at them, that Christ child. Well, go look in the mirror. See that child looking back at you. Ask that child what it needs. And then do it. All right. As I said, beloved child of God. Always. And so when we know who we are, when we see other people as that, and when we hold space for that, the world's a better place. Okay. I think that's what I know. So Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I will be back with you around 9 a.m. tomorrow. Know that you are loved, and I will see you next time.